Hello everybody, how you doing? This is the Starving Martian, and today we are taking a look at the Jurassic Park Chaos Effect Velocirapteryx. Alright, so what exactly is it we're looking at here? Well, as I said, this is a Velocirapteryx. It's from Jurassic Park Chaos Effect, which is a toy line that was released in 1997. It was supposed to go along with a cartoon series of the same name, but the cartoon series never came to fruition. But they still went ahead and released several toys. Now, the basic idea behind Chaos Effect is that various dinosaurs' DNA are spliced together to create new dinosaurs, new species, hybrid species. And it's actually an idea that the Jurassic Park franchise would later revisit in Jurassic World with the Indominus Rex. So that was an interesting creature, but yeah, it was actually following the footsteps of Jurassic Park Chaos Effect. And so there were a number of toys, a number of dinosaurs. Some of them were just repaints of old dinosaurs, and some of them are brand new molds like this guy here. And unfortunately, even though some of the DNA blendings were pretty cool, 90% of them had a horrible neon color paint scheme that just hurts the eyes and looks like nothing that has ever been on an animal in existence ever. And so, except maybe those poison dart frogs. And considering that frog DNA is used to fill in some of the gaps of the missing DNA sequences, I guess that's a possibility. But either way, the chaos effect figures mostly suffer from horrible, horrible paint schemes. This guy is one of the exceptions. This is a Velocirapteryx, as I've mentioned, which means he's a mixture of Velociraptor and Archaeopteryx. Granted, both of these are Transformers, but you get the basic idea. Velociraptor, everybody knows and loves, and an Archaeopteryx, kind of a winged bird-like dinosaur with a toothy beak. And so if you take and blend the DNA of both of those, apparently this is what you get. And this guy is easily my favorite of the Chaos Effects Jurassic Park dinosaurs. He just looks mean and nasty, and he's huge, and he's got claws that will, destroy anything. Um, so let's get a look. I'll start off on his head. Get them teeth he has going there. You can see his tongue painted inside. The mouth doesn't open or close. He's got these beady red eyes. Looks quite evil. I like the paint on this guy. He's got this off-white cream kind of coloring with kind of pinkish on the feathers here with black tips. Red running up his back. Nature's color for danger. He's got more feathers coming up on his head, on his back, and on his tail. Same color as his wings. He's got the official Jurassic Park tattoo. JP, number 58, with a little DNA helix here. That was the symbol for the chaos effect. And I wasn't lying about his claws. Look at these feet. Look at the size of these claws, of these nails here. And they're just as deadly on his fingers. Now, this guy is a little bit hampered in mobility, just because of a little bit of a gimmick that he has, which is you're supposed to be able to pull back on this leg here, the one with the tattoo, and his head will lunge, and his arms will come up, and it works. It's not the greatest feature in the world, but it does what it's supposed to. There's also supposed to be a roar he makes, but, 1997, the little watch-style batteries inside of him are quite dead, and those aren't really worth replacing to me. But because of that, you are slightly limited in mobility. In fact, that's one of the few problems with this guy. His arms are posable, but the wings will like get caught in his leg like that. So you have to be careful when you're moving him around because these are a little bit fragile. I've seen samples of these with the feathers broken off, and then once you start fiddling around with him, it's hard sometimes to get him to stand back up. But once you do, he makes a good shelf piece, a nice display for you. And one thing about the Velociraptor is it is huge. Now you see how big it is here. Um, here it is compared to a Velociraptor. You can see it's substantially bigger. Here it is compared to a Jurassic Park human figure. So you can see just how huge this thing is. Now, if you've seen the movies, you know that the raptors are more or less human size. And so it's odd that this thing is so huge as it is, especially when you consider that the Archaeopteryx is not a large dinosaur. In fact, it was smaller than the raptor. So how is it that the combination of these two makes a being so huge? I have a theory for this. Um, it's interesting because it's not anything I've seen anybody even consider. They just take it at face value that you combine the two and this is what you get. And as we know, there's other bits of DNA floating in there. They plug up any holes in the DNA with other reptiles and amphibians or whatnot. But I got looking at this guy and I have a theory about why he's so huge. And that's because there's actually a third dinosaur whose DNA is used to create this creature. And which dinosaur is that? Well, I took a look at the shape of the head. This head is not shaped like a velociraptor's head. It's not shaped like an Archaeopteryx's head. Now I noticed the length of the arms, the height, the size, which we've already discussed, and these fins on his back. See if you're with me on this. See if you figured it out by now. I believe that the third dinosaur added to the mix was Spinosaurus. I think this guy is actually part Spinosaurus, and that's why he's so huge, and that's why he has the same shaped face that the Spinosaurus has. Now, if I'm correct, that would be interesting because, like I said, these came out in 1997, so it would predate Jurassic Park 3, and it's Spinosaurus. But there you have it. Now, I seriously doubt that this thing would be able to fly. These wings have huge gaps in the feathers, and I imagine this thing would just be too heavy. Birds are able to fly because they're light, they have hollow bones. This thing's too big to have hollow bones. If it had hollow bones, it wouldn't be able to support its own weight. It certainly wouldn't be able to hunt like a velociraptor does. All that jumping and leaping they do, it would shatter, its own ankles. And so this thing, I seriously doubt can fly, but it does look pretty imposing. And so I'm glad to have it in my collection. I'm glad to have it on my shelf. I don't show off a whole lot of Jurassic Park toys because while most of them are very well made, at the end of the day, they're just, dinosaurs. Standard dinosaur toys. Very nicely detailed dinosaur toys, but nothing special about them, really. You've seen one Tyrannosaurus, you've seen them all. But this thing's unique, and so I thought I'd take a moment to show it to you guys. So, do you want your own Velocirapteryx? Well, they tend to be kind of expensive on the secondary market. There's not a whole lot of them out there. And your best bet is probably eBay, where they tend to run between $35 to $50, depending on the condition and whether or not the electronics still work. But yeah, I've had my eyes out for this guy for a while and finally found a deal on him. That's usually the best way to do things is just keep your eyes out. Wait until you find somebody selling it cheap, and snag it when you can. So anyway, I'm personally looking forward to the next Jurassic World movie. I enjoyed the first one, and it's actually my number one film I'm looking forward to this year, even more so than the next Avengers or anything else. And I'm avoiding all the trailers because I want to go in completely unspoiled, and we'll see how that works. But I've enjoyed every single Jurassic Park movie so far, even the much maligned Jurassic Park 3, and so I have high hopes for Jurassic World 2, although I doubt we'll see anything quite as unique as this guy here. So, this has been the Starving Martian with my good buddy, the Velociraptor. Oh, excuse me, one more comparison. Here he is next to the mighty Megalosaurus. So you can see how they scale there together. Alright, and that's going to be about it. This has been the Starving Martian. Alright, we'll see everybody next time. Bye.